What is up, Janksters? It's your boy Graham, also known as HamHawks42 on the internet, and today we have a spicy brew that I really enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, I love it, and not just because it has a silly portmanteau as its name. And I have to give a huge shout out to my buddy DuoCat, who actually challenged me live on stream. Twitch.tv/HamHawks42, by the way. He challenged me live on stream to build a mono blue Arclight Phoenix deck. Now, that deck that we built in mono blue was actually quite bad, and it didn't quite fire the way we wanted to. There were a couple of opportunities where Phoenix really popped off, and it was really cool, but we found that once we switched gears and opened it up to Esper, that some magic started to happen. And that's specifically built because of Raffine. Raffine's Scheming Seer is a phenomenal card, and it works alongside Arclight Phoenix in a very cool way, because Raffine's connive helps get the Arclight Phoenix into the graveyard, and then once the Arclight Phoenix comes out of the graveyard, it adds more creatures to the attack, making the connive stronger. So it works twice, which is really great. It works on both levels. They just fit together beautifully. And so you may be wondering, okay, that's all fine and good, but how do you juggle 4 colors? Well, we don't. Arclight Phoenix is going to our graveyard exclusively. We have no red in the mana base whatsoever. So it's all Esper. And we have other ways to get the Arclight Phoenix in the graveyard, most notably the Illuminator Virtuoso, who also connives every time we target it with a spell, and the Ledger Shredder, which connives every time a player plays their second spell. So the goal is to get one of these threats down on turn 2, and then combo off. I mean, we can do it a couple of ways. The goal is to combo off with multiple spells once we get the Phoenix in the graveyard. If we do it with the Illuminator Virtuoso down, we can target the Virtuoso a number of times with 1 mana spells, connive a whole bunch, hopefully get 1 or 2 Phoenixes into the graveyard, pull the Phoenixes out, Bob's your uncle, we're off to the races. That has an opportunity of popping off potentially on turn 3. Now, if we're waiting until turn 4 or something like that, we can get Raffine online. Life is good in that regard. But the goal is to get the Illuminator Virtuoso and or Ledger Shredder down early, get some connive going, get some Phoenix into the graveyard, and then find our moment. Pick the moment, pop off in 1 turn, and get the Phoenixes out and swinging. Raffine is effectively our late game finisher. Now, it is possible to pop off without Raffine, but it's pretty sweet when you get there with Raffine. So you may be wondering, okay, that's all fine and good, but what are the 1-drop spells that we have that can help us get our connive going with both the Ledger Shredder and the Virtuoso? Well, we have a couple. We have Defiant Strike. This is a card that only costs 1 mana, gives a creature +1/+0, which honestly we don't care about, but it might make a difference. And then it draws a card. So it's a 1 mana spell that replaces itself, and if we're targeting an Illuminator Virtuoso, it also connives this one, which is exactly what we want to do. We also have Homestead Courage in here. Homestead Courage is phenomenal in this deck. Not just like pretty good, but I've had a number of games where it's like, okay, if we can get Homestead Courage off the top, we win here. Because it gives you 2 spell casts on 1 card. Because you can cast it for 1 and then flash it back from the graveyard for 1 as well. So that's absolutely great. Homestead Courage is a bomb in this deck, believe it or not. It's excellent. We also have Consider. We're playing Phoenix. Consider that Surveil can help us smooth out our draws and potentially dump a Phoenix into our graveyard if we happen to hit it just right, which is nice. But it's also just a 1 mana spell that draws us a card. So it helps us keep going, and we can draw into other 1 mana spells that can help us get the Phoenixes out, which is nice. We also have Fading Hope. Now, you'll notice we only have 3 Fading Hopes. That is because there is a chance there will not be a target for this. It is a very powerful 1 mana spell if we're going up against a creature-based deck. If we are not going up against a creature-based deck, we may have to bounce our own Ledger Shredder or something like that to get the 3rd spell in a turn, and that's really quite bad. We don't want to do that. You'll also notice there are a number of spells that are not here in the main deck that would be good candidates, such as Fatal Push or Cling to Dust, but they're in, or Raven Feeblement for that matter too. We have those in the sideboard, you will notice, because in games where those will make a significant difference and have likely targets, we can slot them in, and life is good. As far as other cards we have Seer Guard Approach. Now, you'll notice this is a 4-of. You may be wondering, really? You 4 Seer Guard Approach? Yeah, being able to protect your stuff is nice, but you're trying to go wide in like a combo fashion. You're not trying to play a long game. Why would you bother? This also has another special mode on it, which I just discovered the other day, which makes me so happy. It's not even funny. Seer Guard Approach shuts down Greasefang, believe it or not. At least it prevents it from the turn 3 or 4 like Parhelion insta-kill. Because what you do is you let Greasefang resolve. When Greasefang's trigger goes on the stack and they target Parhelion, you respond with Seer Guard Approach, tap Greasefang. Parhelion's not on the board yet. They then cannot tap Greasefang to crew the Parhelion. Parhelion just sits on the board awkwardly for a second, and then at the end of their turn bounces back to hand. That's it. That's all they got. They were not able to attack. We're not able to create the angels. It's pretty darn great. So Seer Guard Approach shuts down that particular combo, which is why we have 4 up. And the flooring on it's not bad, because if we're not going up against Greasy, one, it can tap down potential blockers, so that's one mode that we can get rid of blockers on the turn when we pull the Phoenixes out, which is nice. The other thing is, it can also just give one of our creatures hexproof. If we have a creature online and we're doing the connive action, we can just target it with hexproof to satisfy that third spell requirement to get the Phoenixes out. So the floor on it is very high, and the upside is big time. So Seer Guard Approach, as long as you can be a little clever with how you use it, it can be very powerful. And then, of course, we have 4 Thoughtseize. We're running black. We want single cost spells. Thoughtseize never doesn't have a target, and it has the opportunity to give us perfect information so we know when to pick our shot, like when to take the shot, and it also allows us to disrupt our opponent, get pesky removal out of their hand, or prevent them from getting their main options into their main decks. To be honest, this is actually the second version of this deck that I'm filming a YouTube video for. The first version did not have Thoughtseize, and it had Tainted Indulgence. That was a card that I thought was going to be particularly strong, but it turned out in this deck it's actually too slow. And so swapping it out for Thoughtseize, it functions so much better. Yeah, so that's the deck. That's our main deck. As I mentioned in the sideboard, it is all powerful 1-mana spells. We have Slip Out the Back, Cling to Dust to deal with, again, in Greasefang decks or Greasefang matches up, so we definitely want to slot that in. In decks that care about the graveyard reanimator kind of situations, we definitely want to slot that in. It's a great little 1-mana spell for that. And we can even escape it later if we have to, which is not bad. Fatal Push is in the sideboard because it is a 1-mana kill a thing. If our opponent is running aggro, Fatal Push is coming in, for sure, 100%. We also have one more Fading Hope in the sideboard. Again, if our opponent's giving us targets, we slot that in. Life is good. More Slip Out the Backs. We also have, Fatal Push, Cling to Dust, and then Rave Enfeeblement is the last one. If we're going up against like an Esper deck or a white deck, we can slot in Rave Enfeeblement, and it just is very powerful. So, good stuff. Good times had by all. This is Raffinix. So I also love the name. Dumb Portmanteau. It's my favorite. So Raffinix, Esper, Arclight Phoenix. Let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay. Also, in the past, for these videos, I have been filming best of 1. I'm going to be filming best of 3 this time around. We're going to be playing some best of 3 games because I find best of 1 is very swingy, and it's one of those where it kind of comes down to the top deck more often than not. Best of 3 gives you more decision points, and therefore the skill of the player is more impactful on the end result of the match because it's not just dependent on one game. So I'm hoping that, to be honest, I find it more fun because I've been finding best of 1 to be kind of tedious recently. So I'm going to try best of 3 with this. We're going to give it a shot. See how it works. If you enjoy this, please let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it very, very much. Also, a like and a sub go a very long way. So I'd appreciate that very much. Let's feed that YouTube algorithm, get more eyeballs on the stuff, because I want to share these cool decks. So let's jump out into some gameplay and see what we can do with this thing. See, 4 lands and a Consider and a Raffine. We can also cast Defiant Strike, targeting our opponent's stuff just to draw a card and effectively cycle it if we have to. But this looks like a keep to me. We throw the island on 1, so we have access to the Consider post-haste to hopefully draw into some other threats. Not some other lands. We don't need those. So we have the Consider on 1. We're going to throw the Concealed Courtyard on 2. And worst case scenario, we jam Raffine on 3, which we can do worse than that. Drawing into a Thoughtseize here would be especially nice. Being able to lead off with a Thoughtseize would go a long way. The end step, we're going to consider the following. Shredder, that'll work. We take those. Phoenix, let's go. We're going to run out the Ledger Shredder. It may get fatally pushed here. That is definitely a possibility. Our opponent has 6 cards in hand as an untapped Black Source. Yep, it happens. That's okay. That's okay. We still have Raffine locked and loaded, ready to go. So that's nice. I like that. And we have this Phoenix in our hand that we can connive into the graveyard. Actually, you know what? I'm realizing that I'm covering up the hand. Let me go ahead and I'm going to shrink down a little bit. There we go. All right, cool. Raffine's Tower. Let's jam a Raffine. They're playing Jund, so I'm not worried about counter spells. I'm not worried about more kill spells. An Infernal Grasp here would kind of suck to Leon Flanders. Except for the kind of part. It would actually be a huge bummer. Yeah, we need to get that Phoenix into the yard, and we need to get some cheap spells into our hand post-haste. And Raffine's attack is going to be clutch for that. The Mayhem Devil. Alright, fair enough. Virtuoso's a good hit. Virtuoso's a fine hit, actually. Attack with Raffine first. Get our connive on. We're gonna dump the Arclight Phoenix. Hey, another Raffine. Not mad at that. Smiggity smack for 2. Alright, and then we're gonna throw down the Glacial Fortress. Followed by an Illuminator Virtuoso. Do I have to pronounce it that way? No, I'm not exactly sure why I did. And with any luck, that Virtuoso is gonna pull some Mayhem Devil triggers next turn. Because the Defiant Strike can get us out of a lot of jams on that front. They sacrifice the Mayhem Devil to get a ping on the Virtuoso? Alright, sure. We get our connive on, we discard that Raffine, so it buffs up to a 2-2. And we even have another Defiant Strike, so the Mayhem Devil is going to deal 1 damage to it, and they lose their Mayhem Devil. They have to have Reanimator, there's no way. That card is way too powerful to merit. I mean, they tried to trade the Mayhem Devil with the Virtuoso and failed. Now they have another Mayhem Devil. Okay, that's good, but having multiple Devils on hand is so strong. I'm kind of surprised they didn't hold off. Oh, Homestead Courage. Don't mind if I do. All right, let's go ahead and rip a Homestead Courage on the Virtuoso first. Show me Phoenix. At this point, we're trying to draw Phoenixes, because if we draw Phoenixes, we get to discard Phoenixes. Discarding Phoenixes is sweet. I'm a fan. I'm actually going to dump the land here, which I know is not going to buff the Virtuoso, and that's okay. We have way more land than we know what to do with right now. So that buffs, which is nice. I like it when that buffs. Then we can... I'm going to go Defiant Strike here. This is 2 spells. We've cast 2 spells so far. More land. Don't need that. So again, I'm going to let the land go. I'm not super jazzed. But now we draw the card off the Defiant Strike. More land! Holy crap! This land pocket is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, then we're going to Fading Hope the Mayhem Devil. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. And we're going to get a chance to scry 1. I'm going to let the Consider go. We're going to Homestead Courage on our Virtuoso, get another... I'm hoping to dig for a second Phoenix. I'm going to let Raffine go. Not overly jazzed about it. This is presenting a lot of damage on board, though, and I like that. And we get another Phoenix. Is this game? I think that depends on what we draw into. The Virtuoso is going to be the one conniving because of the double strike. Now we get another Phoenix. We have to discard 3 cards. 12, 15, 16, 17... Alright. That'll be enough if they don't have any trickery. If there's no trickery afoot. Oh, they do have a food they can eat. Oh, but actually that wouldn't be enough either. Alright, cool. We just got there. Yes. Alright, that was game 1. Let's go on to game 2. Let's see what we can do. Alright, sideboards. So in this situation, we've got cat oven shenanigans with all kinds of other stuff. I want the 4th Fading Hope. I want to be able to bounce stuff. That's pretty darn nice. Fatal Push doesn't really do much for us, nor does Cling to Dust, unfortunately, because the cat can just come back. Although there's a possibility that they mistime it. They can mistime it. You know what? I'm going to pull Cling to Dust in. I'm going to lose Considers. And we can go down to 3 Sea of Guard approach. I'm not mad at that. I should probably put more black in the mana base, because we have a lot of black in the sideboard. That's okay. Alright, let's run this out and see what we can do. Alright. We're not looking at it now. So if you try this at home, have a couple more swamps for games 2 and 3. I think we'll be okay, though. Raffine's Tower. We're going to be just fine. Raffine's Tower, double Thoughtseize. Let's go. Being able to Thoughtseize twice is pretty brutal. That said, we're not going to be able to get our hands on the Witch's Oven or the Gilded Goose, unfortunately. And if they have a Mayhem Devil, they're probably going to rip it because our Black Source comes into play tapped. That is unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate, as a matter of fact. Trail of Crumbs. That is a very powerful card. That is going to draw them an obscene number of cards, to the point where actually had they played out just about anything else and gave us the opportunity to, well, you know, if we were to Thoughtseize, which we will now because they're down to 3 cards, if Trail of Crumbs had still been in hand, we probably would have hit it. Like, if they have a second one, I'm actually going to grab it. But let's see. Let's see what they got. Show me what you got. Noxious Grasp, Fatal Push, and Binding. I think Binding is actually the answer, although they're not 2 lands. Noxious Grasp and Fatal Push are both problematic for us. But next turn we'll be able to throw Illuminator Virtuoso and keep Seaguard Approach back. So I'm gonna take the Fatal Push. All right. Although next turn we can also throw Illuminator Virtuoso and Thoughtseize again, or actually Thoughtseize first. That was a slick move, using the Gilded Goose to activate Trail of Crumbs. They drew a land there. I don't like that. I don't want them having access to land. That's no fun. All right, Binding is the next target, I think. But then we have the question: do we Thoughtseize here, knowing that we can't reasonably run out the Illuminated Virtuoso, or I think we go a turn without Thoughtseizing. I think that's the correct answer. We're going to throw the Illuminated Virtuoso now and keep Seaguard Approach as well as Fading Hope back. So Virtuoso's not going anywhere. It's going to be fine. As much as I just resist the urge. You got to resist the urge to Thoughtseize. It's tough, I'm not going to lie. Knowing that their fist is full of removal, like, yeah. All right. End step. Did they go for the Noxious Grasp on the end step? If they go for the Noxious Grasp on the end step, I'm going to Fading Hope the Virtuoso. If they go for the Binding next turn... I'm going to go Seaguard Approach. Pay for the Trail of Crumbs, draw into a cat. Interesting. And now they used up their food, so they probably have another land. Yeah, okay. They're probably going to Binding. I know I would in this situation. In which case, we Seaguard Approach the Illuminated Virtuoso, get our connive on. And their Binding the Old Gods doesn't have an effect on that, which would be nice. Ooh, Cauldron Familiar. Interesting. Okay. One little ping, sure. They're going to go for the Noxious Grasp. Or a Fable the Mirror Breaker that we weren't aware of. That works too. All right. Huh. Kind of wish we'd been aware of that so we could have done something. Oh well. They could attack with the Goose, but I'm sure they won't, because why? I don't need another Thoughtseize. I love Thoughtseize. It's a beautiful card. Not really. It's actually kind of a pain in the butt, but I like it. It's my pain in the butt. We're going to Thoughtseize. Get that Binding out of here, because that's a ton of value that I don't want them having access to. Let's get our connive on. Show me some Phoenixes. You're not a Phoenix. We don't have any Phoenixes in the bin yet. I'm actually going to let the island go, unfortunately. All right, Virtuoso, pressure. I mean, this is 6 damage, so that's a pretty sizable chunk. Yeah, they're going to put the cat in front of it. If they can generate more food, which the Goose will be able to do for them, then they're going to have a good... Yeah, if they generate more food, they're going to be able to draw more cards and get the cat back. Here comes the Noxious Grasp. We knew that was coming. More connive action. Another Virtuoso. You know what? I'm going to let that one go. Boom, baby. All right, so Homestead Courage is 2 spells for us. Raffine! Excellent. That is actually a pretty sweet hit for us. Let's go. Discard the Homestead Courage. 10 damage again. They kind of have to block. They don't really have a choice. And here's the situation where if we had a black mana, again, I need to work the mana base. So I definitely need to work the mana base on this. If we had a black mana here, we could cling the dust, get the cat out of the bin, and it would have been really nice. But alas, it's not to be. Ooh, the devil. Good thing our Virtuoso was already a 5/5. Well, at this point, they don't have any food, so we can still cling to dust the cat. Boom. Get her gone. More Virtuoso action. Get our connive on. I'm going to connive. Let the land go because we were hitting an epic land pocket, which I'm not overly fond of. But what are you going to do? I'm going to cry about it. I'm going to let the Thoughtseize in the courtyard go because we're going to be playing that Ledger Shredder post-combat. And the goose is going to soak up 12 damage. Fair enough. Chip in for 2. Here comes the shredder. It's a shredder. Now, they do have the possibility of making a Mayhem Devil Reflection and possibly sacking some stuff. But that said, they don't have a good sack outlet at the moment. That's a very important thing. Very important distinction. And also, we got the cat out of their yard. We got the cat out of the graveyard. I'm over the moon about that. That Cling to Dust was great. I'm glad we sided those in. And we got 11 cards in our graveyard, so we could very easily escape it. Am I missing anything? No, we still don't have any Phoenixes in the yard. Gone through 20 cards, haven't seen one yet. It's unfortunate. All right, and Corvold will operate as a sacrifice outlet. They sacrifice a land. All right, that's important. They're probably gonna go face with that, is my guess. Kind of no reason not to go anywhere. No reason to go anywhere else. Another Cling to Dust. I'm okay with that. That was a creature. So let's exile a non-creature. So we can draw a card. Fading Hope. Yes. Beautifully named card. Very appropriate. Exactly what we're about to do. Go ahead and pick up Corvold. We get a connive on. Buffing the shredder. This is a shredder. Attack with the team. Buff up a Raffine one more time. We discard all 3 of those. All right. Raffinix is doing some good work against Jun Sacrifice. Kiki Jiki taking one for the team. I'm pretty happy about this. And because they sacrificed the land, they don't have access to Corvold anymore. That's delicious. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. Ping and face here. Sure. Draw a card. Sure. Drew Cauldron Familiar. That's not a bad draw, but they needed the oven more than the familiar at this point. The Infinite Sack Fodder goes a long way, but only so far. Let's rid ourselves of the Fable, and we are going to... We're not really using our graveyard for anything, so... It doesn't really matter what we do except for the Clings. And the Shadow. The Ledger Shadow. Alright, well, we've drawn into all 4 Clings. That's something. Yellow Goose taking one for the team yet again. This is 7 damage in the skies. Now, we are going to need an answer for Corvold. That's going to drop next turn. But to be honest, we might just be able to swing out here. I should have dropped the Courtyard. It's a dead card. But we can chuck it away to more conniving. So, whatever. Speaking of, hey, Phoenix, there you are. Yeah, Arclight Phoenix in the bin, and the buffs the Shredder. One more time. One more time. The second land, naturally. Gonna get some pings on. We have way too much toughness on board. Way too much toughness. Happy to see it. The Virtuoso is cool. I like it. We're going to clean just the Noxious Grasp. Not exiling the Phoenix. That's important too. Sorry, we're not using our graveyard. I'm an idiot. Don't mind me. We're not using the spells out of our graveyard. But we need to make sure to not escape the Phoenix. That would hurt a lot, as a matter of fact. Defiant Strike. Not mad at that. Not mad at that. That's going to go on Raffine. Shadow. Holy lands. All right. Raffine's gonna get her connive on. We are going to dump all of this stuff. Yeah. All the power. The power! So, yeah, we're just going for a hard attack here. We're just going big time. Let's do it. Yeah, so I think after this game, after this match, I should say, I am going to make a slight modification to the mana base. I'm going to put a couple more swamps into it before game 2. So for the final list that you see in the description below, it will have a few more swamps. So just be aware of that than the one that we showed during the deck tech. So I do apologize for any inconvenience there. But yeah, got him. 2-0 on our first match. Ba-boom. You'll love to see it. All right, let's move on to match number 2. Choosing to play first, always play first. We have a lot of threats we need to draw into our spells, but we have good mana, good threats. If we draw into some spells, we're golden. If we don't, we might be in some trouble. But as long as we draw into some spells, we're gonna be just fine. Well, Phoenix is nice. I like Phoenix. Phoenix is delightful. Next turn, we can throw the island, Raffine, swing the Virtuoso, chuck the Phoenix. That could work. If they don't have a Fatal Push, which they do. We're an Explorer after all. Or Bloodchief's Thirst. Fatal Push Junior. Okay, fair enough. Let's throw the Tower and the Virtuoso. Got another one of those there, Chief? Alright. Maliana Bone Crusher. That'll do. Mildly problematic, except for the mildly part. Another Raffine's Tower. Man, we're flooding out already. This is not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. But that's okay. It's only game 1 after all. And we do have a great connive target in the Arclight Phoenix. So, speaking of Phoenixes, all right. Fair enough, opponent. Fair enough. Probably should have Homestead Courage there, but I want to save it to actually pull the Phoenixes out. Because if we can draw again, if we can draw into one more spell, if we can draw into one more spell, we're gonna be fine. It's a big if though, big if. Because right now we've been drawing nothing but lands. Well, Homestead Courage is gonna hit the bin, which is unfortunate, because that is stripping us of one potential spell we could have cast. Graveyard Trespasser. That's gonna get rid of our Phoenix. Oi, I dislike Graveyard Trespasser. I see that card a lot, and it shuts down most of the stuff I try to do. Oh, they're going for the Homestead Courage. Interesting. Okay. All right, fair enough. It's a Shredder. It's a Ledger Shredder. Let's get our connive on. Show me another Phoenix. That accomplished nothing. All right, cool. Well, it didn't accomplish nothing. It helped us churn through that land pocket and hopefully get into some more good stuff. So, it's fine, but it's not fine. We're flooding out. And this deck runs 21 lands. So it's not like we have an absorbent amount of lands in this deck. To be honest, like, I don't know, we might be able to run fewer because the card velocity is so high, but actually, we might be able to run things like Malakir Rebirth. That actually might be fun. And I don't know. Just a thought. Yeah, they're going to kill the Shredder. Sure. That makes sense. Attacker or Graveyard Trespasser coming in. Going to get rid of the Phoenix. We're going to have to do this without Phoenixes. As long as that Graveyard Trespasser is on the other side, Phoenixes are completely and totally 100% off the table. Which sucks. It sucks a lot, as a matter of fact. The only thing that sucks more is all these lands we're drawing. But here we are. Holy bejeebus. Are you guys seeing this? I should have dumped the planes, to be honest, but like, to say this is absolutely, completely, and totally ridiculous feels like an understatement, but it's all good. These things happen. Bad draws happen. This is only game 1 after all. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to, you know, we might be able to win this thing yet, but it's not looking good. They're picking off all of our threats. The fact, because Raffine is only, like, Raffine can be good by herself, but Raffine is great when you have support. And our opponent, the opponent's picking off the support beautifully. We're fading up the Phoenix before blockers are declared, so we kill Chandra. They have 5, 6, 7, 8 damage on board. So if they have anything, they have a shock in hand, we're dead. And actually, Graveyard Trespasser is going to ping us for 1. So if they have a Spike Field Hazard in hand, we're dead. Phoenix doesn't have haste, fortunately, but my goodness. All right, so this was a bad game for us. We had just absolute garbage draws, and the Graveyard Trespasser shut us down pretty nicely. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But before we go, let's take a look. Let's see what kind of intel we can get on our opponent. It's sorry, my alarm's going off there. It's Rakdos good stuff is what they're playing. They're just playing Rakdos good stuff. But there's a lot of really good Rakdos stuff out there, so you can get away with that. We definitely want the Cling to Dust for the Phoenix. Let's consider more lands. And we're gonna draw land too. Oh, miracle of miracles. All right. I'm actually not even gonna bother attacking. I don't want to give them any more information. Let's just move on to the next game. They know what's up. We're Esper Phoenix. There's no question about it. So Cling to Dust has the potential to be good. Slip out the back also. They're running a ton of removal, so being able to protect our stuff is going to be important. They're giving us plenty of stuff to bounce, so Fading Hope can come in. All right, but what do we take out? Consider can go. Seer Guard Approach also protects our stuff. Actually, let's go 2 Clings. Do we go down to 2 or 3 Thoughtseize? I'm going down to 3 Thoughtseize. You know what? Let's actually keep it to 3 Fadings. Let's go 3 Defiant Strikes. All right, let's try this. Slip out the back also has a secondary mode where there are 2 modes of it. One, you target one of your own things and save it from getting blown out or wiped. You can also target your opponent's things and phase it out for the turn, meaning that they don't have a blocker, which is nice. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Let's do it. I'm not going to not play the turn 1. Well, okay, here's a question. Do we want the turn 1 Thoughtseize or the turn 2 Illuminator? I think we want the turn 1 Thoughtseize because the truth is, the Illuminator is just going to die until turn 3 anyway. Yeah, they just have nothing but... Well, it's just lands and removal. That's all they were running, is lands and removal. So next turn, we throw the Raffine's Tower, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Unless we draw another Thoughtseize, which would have been tight. And then we throw the Illuminator Virtuoso. They play Blood Chiefsters on their turn. We play Slip out the back, get a connive, keep the Illuminator Virtuoso alive, which is nice. I like that. I like keeping it. Oh, and we got the Phoenix. Let's go. All right, things are coming our way now. Coming our way? Things are going our way. Coming or going, doesn't matter. It's our way. That's what counts. They're going to try to hit it with the Blood Chiefsters. But we knew the Blood Chiefsters was there. We played it out. So they probably know that we have a trick up our sleeve. And that is okay, frankly. Did they draw into another Fatal Push? Yeah, they did. Damn it! I hate it when that happens. It's all good. We got a Phoenix in the bin, and now we just drew a Ledger Shredder. So it could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. All good, all good. Woosah. Woosah. If we had 1 more mana, we could actually get that Phoenix out, but as it stands, I am going to cast Defiant Strike here because we get to connive and draw a card. I'm going to dump the land off the connive, and we draw into more land. Neat. Except for the part where I said neat. I think we could probably run this with 19 land. We're running 21 right now. We could probably go less. Kindling Phoenix, sure. Boom, boom, boom. Cling to us one of their fatal pushes, which is going to draw us a card, which is yet more land. Holy wow. But we have the Phoenix online now, which is nice. They can block with the Rekindling Phoenix all day and not care, which is mildly annoying, especially because now we can't cling to dust the Phoenix, which is what we need to do here. It is an instant, so if we can kill the Phoenix next turn, we can cling it, which would be nice. I'd like that. I'd like that very much, as a matter of fact. Fabla of the Mirror Breaker, sure. Raffine. I'll take it. This means we don't get to. That means we don't get to cling the Phoenix, but I'm kind of okay with that. They can't choose to block here. Yep, and they do. Drop out another Shredder. We get our connive on, churning through yet more land. My goodness, this match is just. I mean. We're clearly going into real estate here. This is kind of ridiculous. And our opponent's doing the same, though. So it is what it is. Graveyard Trespasser, that's gonna kill our Phoenix. We had one Phoenix in there. It's gonna be gone now. Yeah, that sucks. All right. The sheer volume of land we're hitting is really upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. Fortunately for us, all of our jazz has flying though, which is nice. Hit the Fading Hope to keep that Ledger Shredder around. I want to get some more connive going, if at all possible. And I think we're gonna cling on their end step to draw a card. They do get to. Actually, never mind. We're not gonna cling on their end step because they're gonna cling here. Or they're gonna get rid of our cling if they know what's good for them. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Didn't expect that, to be honest, but all right. Spells. Actually, you know what? No. Land. Those are all useless in our graveyard. And their Fatal Push is irrelevant, but all the same, we do get to draw a card. More land! Alright, sorry, I'm being a bit dramatic, but I'm also getting a bit frustrated. Alright, double connive. Give me something good. I am going to dump the Thoughtseize in favor of buffing that one, and then we're going to dump another land, because we have all of the lands. All of them. Holy crap. This land has this land. I'm at a point where I can't say match or game. It's just this land. This land. It's just been land. Land. That's all that exists is more land. And we're going to attack. And we're going to connive. And we're going to see nothing but land. All right. Good. It's not just land. But let's see. I mean, we don't have enough damage. And then we're dead on the crackback. So, like... And we don't have any Phoenixes in our yard because of Trespasser. Yeah, this match was lost. We can get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can get them down to 4, but it's not good enough. And even then, they have the Phoenix to block. If we tap the Phoenix... Wait a minute. Let's do that. This might be overextension. This might be an overextension. $10. Yeah. Close. Yeah, they got us. I should have played more defensively there at the end. I should have played more defensively. That was me getting greedy, but I really wanted to see this thing pop, and we just didn't quite get there. And they're gonna Kiki the Phoenix just cause. Yeah, they got it. That was unfortunate. The sheer volume of lands we drew between game 1 and 2, like both of these games, we're down to 26 lands, 26 cards in our library, and we did not see most of our gas. It was kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's all good. We'll get them on the next one. Let's go on to the next match. All right, we win the coin flip / die roll / whatever the heck you want to call it. This is a keeper. We're gonna have Raffine on 3, which is nice. I like having Raffine on 3. Raffine's Tower on 1 is also a fine first play. And then next turn we can jam Hallowed Fountain tapped. We're seeing lands. I don't like seeing this many lands. Sorry, that last game is going to be... I think, actually, to be honest, I think we do need to cut a couple lands. I think that probably would be for the best. Let's consider the following. Defiant Strike's actually quite good. I'll take it. Our opponent's on Grixis. Do we just jam out Raffine now? Or do we... I think we do. I think we jam out Raffine. Now, I could get punished for this. The other option was to hold it back until we have Seer Guard approach up. But my thought is Raffine is an ineligible target for Vanishing Verse. Not that they can have that. Not sorry, that's irrelevant. Don't mind me. But it's not a good... there are a lot of things that Raffine can't... What are the words that I'm looking for? Let's define it one more time. Thoughtseize, never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. Let's go. Fatal Push. Raffine is ineligible for Fatal Push. Nikki B. Meat Hook Massacre. Eliminate. Yahine's Expertise. Gotta get rid of Nikki B. Get the Ravager out of here. 100% all day, every day, no question. And let's get our connive on and get a Phoenix in the graveyard. Boom. You'll love to see it. And with Seer Guard approach and Homestead Courage back, awesome. Eliminate also does not work here. Actually, never mind. It won't work because we're gonna give it hexproof. But they could target Raffine with Eliminate. They didn't have, actually they could have shocked that in last turn and eliminated Raffine. But the ward 1 is very real. Very real. Yeah, but we're too big for Yahine's Expertise, which is nice. They're gonna attempt to eliminate. I'm gonna let them pay the ward. And we're gonna give Raffine hexproof. Ding ding. I like that. And we have one Phoenix in the bin. Not bad. Not bad. Now, we won't have the ability to cast 3 spells this turn, so I'm not going to cast any. I'm going to play the Hallowed Fountain tapped. Sorry. Well, we're not going to be able to play 3 spells before combat, I should say. And we have another Seer Guard approach back. You'll love to see it. So next turn, we have an opportunity to get the Phoenix out if we do not have to cast Seer Guard approach to protect Raffine. If we do have to, I absolutely will. But if we don't, next turn, we Courage, approach Phoenix. And then we have 7 damage on board, potentially 8 or 9, actually, depending on how we connive. Feels good. Oh. All right, never mind. I think we just have lethal here. Or no, because we don't have a way to get the Phoenix in the graveyard before combat. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. If we had a Leisure Shredder or a Virtuoso down, this would be a different story. But as it stands, I think we're going to be... Actually, do we still have lethal? I wasn't accounting for the actual counters that Homestead Courage gives. This might just be lethal. I like lethal. Lethal's nice. Ooh, they have the cast down for the Phoenix. Touche, opponent. And they used it appropriately, casting it before attackers. Virtuoso not going to survive, so I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to hold it back and let our opponent think we have more trickery up our sleeves. But yeah, Yahine's Expertise and Meat Hook can't touch Raffine right now. Yeah, that's game one. All right, cool. Excellent. But unfortunately for us, our opponent saw everything we're trying to do. Mildly problematic. But that said, they're running a ton of removal. So slip out the back comes back in. I'm going to pull Consider out. Because that's just kind of what I do in sideboards. Is I pull Consider out. I wasn't given... I mean, the adversary was leveraging the graveyard. But that's not enough, I don't think, to merit pulling that in. Raven Feedman against Grixis makes no sense. Fatal Push could have some targets here. Do we put in Fatal Push over Fading Hope? You know what? I'm going to trust my gut here. We're going to put in the Fatal Pushes over the Fading Hopes. Let's give it a go. All right, so that is game one in the books for us. Let's see if we can make that happen again. And that ended up just being Raffine tempo. Like, we didn't actually end up pulling... we pulled one Phoenix and it got swiftly removed. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we did end up with a 6/9 Raffine. Nice. Just saying. Because I'm an overgrown child, and I appreciate little jokes like that. All right, here we go. We're waiting for the opponent. All right, Duck Company, let's do this thing. Game two. This hand looks gaseous. And I mean that in the best possible way. And the hits just keep on coming. The hips just keep on coming? No, the hits just keep on coming with an Illuminator Virtuoso. Raffine's Tower. I love it. Let's go with the Virtuoso first. It's probably going to die. Just, I'm assuming. They often do. If they throw the adversary now, we can throw Ledger Shredder and... Well, no. We won't be able to Ledger Shredder and Fatal Push, which is mildly unfortunate, but not the end of the world. March Red Sorrow. Yep. And unfortunately, Ledger Shredder would have survived that. Unfortunate. Now we can throw the Glacial Fortress. I wish we had a Thoughtseize in hand right now. That would be tight, but unfortunately we do not. You know what? I'm going to get our connive on. Let's go. This is a Ledger Shredder. That's Defiant Strike, said Ledger Shredder. Homestead Courage might have made more sense here because the +1/+0 we don't get to keep any advantage on. That's okay. That's a pretty lousy draw for us. I'm gonna let that go. Raffine. You'll love to see it. Alright, cool. Tainted Indulgence on the main phase. That tells me that they do not have a fourth land in hand, or at least they did not prior to this. That's my guess anyway. And they discard a Spell Pierce. Ooh, they may regret that decision. And another Concealed Courtyard. Okay, cool. Raffine. And I have to roll my R every time. I can't help it. Concealed Courtyard. Okay, we're just going to dump lands. Which, I mean, we're not adding more power to the board, unfortunately, but it is what it is. No Phoenixes yet. Thoughtseize. I see a Guard Approach is probably the one they want to get rid of. That'd be my guess. That also tells me that they don't have any small creatures in hand. Go blank, that hurts. Well, I'm gonna discard the Fatal Push to the Connive. That way we get the counter. And Go Blank is actually pretty good tech against us here. I'm not even mad at that. It is just a good play. Homestead Courage on Raffine. Homestead Courage on Ledger Shredder. Let's get our connive on and give Raffine the counters. Gonna let the Virtuoso and another Raffine go. Slip out the back is now live and online. We got some pressure on board. Okay, cool. So we're not executing the Phoenix game plan, but just the... All right, this is gonna force us to discard a card. We don't have any cards left, so we can't do that. Ha ha ha. We're gonna cycle this and hopefully hit a 1-mana something. Another slip out the back is great, actually, because we can slip out Nikki B. Actually, no, Nikki B's gonna die in combat anyway. Let's just swing. We're connive on the Shredder. Seven. All right. You know what? I'm gonna let the Thoughtseize go. This isn't quite lethal, but it's damn near. And they choose to take it. All right, cool. Now, if they try to wipe the board here, which they very easily might, we can slip out the back and keep our Ledger Shredder around. Or Raffine. Either way, we're good. If they try to use spot removal, we can prevent it. Drown and lock? Yeah, exactly. Just no. Got him. Yes! All right. That was a blast. 2-0. All right, cool. So that mid game we didn't quite pop off the second match didn't quite work out for us, but the first and the third, life is good. We managed to get exactly where we wanted to be. Now, we didn't pop with the Phoenixes quite as often as I would have liked. However, we were able to do such good stuff just with Raffine and the connive creatures that we were able to get the job done. I think the deck is quite strong. I think it's a lot of fun. I'd highly recommend you check it out. And again, if you want to tinker with the mana base, there might be an opportunity to improve there. I'll be the first to admit that. But thank you so much for checking out the video, and thank you for making it to the end. I appreciate it very, very much. Please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference. And yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much. You can also catch me live on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammox42. And I want to give a huge thank you to our patrons. And so let's take a look at the Patreon credits, everybody. So huge thank you to the patrons. I gotta say, patreon.com/hammox42. If you are interested in having your name join this illustrious crew, you certainly can. And I want to give a special thank you to the mythic patrons at the $10 level, and that's Dream Dragon Ari, Else89, the master of Scoots, and Silent Labber. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all oh so much, and I will catch you on the next one.